being an entrepreneur and a businessman myself, I definitely, as I reached to St. Martin and I tried to open my own business, I myself had some little struggles opening my business. At the end of the day, I get it done because I adapted. But I think the process could be easier, especially to motivate young business people, especially entrepreneurs. I think, I have a few businesses myself. I definitely work hard and getting myself above water. And now I would definitely like to, extend my knowledge to small businesses in the arena, especially those that are, maybe they are operating already and need that little coaching or operating or need that guidance as where to go. And I think that should be, the chambers could help with these kind of things and motivating or giving the right information to create successful small businesses. That's one of my motivations for going into this election to represent small businesses on the board of directors from the chamber.
What are some of the things that you want to directly work on for the small business?
I think starting, the key is information. I think getting information out there to assist with helping them to make better choices. I think choices is something that could break you or make you. So getting the right information to make the right choices no doubtly would assist in creating successful businesses. I would definitely like to look into the areas where we could motivate. I'm just pro-entrepreneurship. I mean, of course, next to entrepreneurship, you got employees. At the end of the day, not everyone have the courage and the guts to do business of their own. But at the end of the day, I want to see, I want to give even that one or two people the courage to start their business and be able to steer them in a way that, they would be successful. So I think the Chamber's board of directors could definitely assist in that.
And do you see a really need for that to happen? Because, we just experienced a hurricane. There's going to be a lot of work to help a lot of local businesses. Most of them are out of business, right? How would you be able to fix that?
I think some sectors would be harder to fix than others post-Irma. But I think if pre-Irma, if we had this already going with that kind of entrepreneur mentality, because it's also a mindset, I think you would have had more firing, more hiring than firing where that is concerned post-Irma. If you look at it, the cleaning industry has begun to boom, the construction industry. On the other hand, the hotels, a lot of electronic stores, most of them are opening again, have led to certain damages. So I think where those that are active right now, you could get them rolling, because I think after when the demand falls, the question is, what are you going to do next for those that have gotten opportunity, because this disaster has, crippled a lot, but also has brought opportunities forward for those that didn't have none pre-Irma.
Now, how are you going to get your message there? Are you going to approach the small business people or call them in a town hall meeting to explain what your plans and where can you strengthen them so they could survive among the big guns that we have on the island?
Yeah, well, for sure, getting together with the business owners is definitely number 2 on the list. Number 1 is learning the rules of engagement on the board of directors, learning how it works, and figuring out what the do's and the don'ts. Because I don't want to go there and look like a fool and make a fool of myself and trying to make all kind of promises and making all kind of, talking all kind of stuff that maybe is not possible. So for me, the first thing is to learn how it goes, learn my colleagues, deal with the team, and come up with good ideas as a team, because I say teamwork makes the dream work. I can't do it myself. That's why it's a board of directors. So together, we have to come with plans and ideas. And once we come with them, and I know how it's work and what I can't and can do, then I'm going to hit the ground running. I have a lot of ideas, but I guess everything has to be set in a specific way to represent the chambers as a member of the board.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NV.
I would like to start by giving an update on the elections. As you know, elections are scheduled to be held on the 26th of February, and the preparations for those elections are in full swing. On December the 6th was the closing of the voters' registry. The amount of eligible voters at the closing on December 6th were 22,559 voters. This amount would fluctuate. It can increase, and this would be based on the possibility that voters have to request the courts to amend the voters' register by adding them, for instance, if they are not on the voters' register. So those preparations are taking place. Postulation date is scheduled for January the 5th, and on that day, the political parties can submit their lists at the Central Voting Bureau, the Central Voting Bureau, which will be situated in the Parliament building, and this will be between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. For those lists submitted by parties who do not have representation in Parliament at present, the law requires that they would have to get 142 votes, not on the postulation date, but the following day. All of this would be announced properly in due time for everyone to be aware as exactly what would happen. The amount of 142, one may ask, how did you get that? Where did that come from? And that is based on the stipulation in the law that says it is 1% of the total votes cast in the last election. So that's how, when you take the 1% of the total votes cast in the last election, you would come to 142. It was also made known that during the hurricane, that the container that had the equipment, so the voting bins, etc., of the voting bureau, the Central Voting Bureau, that this was blown away and destroyed. And that was, as you may recall, one of the objections with the previous date that was set, because the main voting bureau, that is chaired by Attorney Jason Rogers, they were concerned at that time that we would not be able to meet certain stipulations in the law, and among those things was also the fact that the container with those goods were lost. These needed equipment have been ordered, and it is expected that by the end of January that they would arrive on the island. So
those concerns would be met, and we would have everything that would be needed to be able to continue with the elections. Also, preempting the official announcements to this matter, there were some concerns about how would voting cards be distributed, etc., because you know the post office also suffered some severe damage during the hurricane. And to solve this problem, the post office, while they would also take part in distributing voting cards, they would not be the main source of getting the voting cards to the voters. It is expected that the Central Voting Bureau would have sub-bureaus in the districts, and at these districts, the voters can go and collect their voting card. That would be the main way of distributing the voting cards. Those cards that are left over will still be then distributed by the post office. And as is known, as is the case with every election, 3 days before the election and even on the day of the election, if someone did not get their voting card, they can always go to the census office and get a voting card. So with that update is to let the public know that the preparations are ongoing, all is going well, and the subsequent announcements would be made. In the capacity of Minister of Justice, I will be issuing some guidelines for the election. Those are being finalized, and within short, those would be published and made known to the public. Then we go over to the recovery. As I'm sure I need not remind everyone that the whole recovery funds that were promised, allotted by the Dutch government of 550 million euros were hinged on two conditions. One of those conditions was the border control being done jointly with the VKS and the Dutch customs. That has been finalized some weeks now. That condition has been met already, and the discussions are now being held, with accumulating in a conference early January, where the different parties would sit down, the different departments would sit down and work out the details as to how they would execute the agreement that was signed between the Netherlands and St. Martin for that effect. The second condition was that of the Integrity Chamber. Parliament passed the Ordinance on Integrity Chamber, if I'm not mistaken, last week, Wednesday. And since then, the governor has signed it, and as Prime Minister, I have countersigned it as Minister of General Affairs, and it is considered now that the conditions, both conditions, have been met by St. Martin in order to qualify for the funds. Discussions have been taking place all the while, though, as to how this thing would be set up. Contrary to the belief out there was that everything was ready to go, and all that needed to happen was that St. Martin had to meet these two conditions, and money would start flowing. That is not the case, and I have said that before. I've tried to manage expectations. However, both the Dutch government and the St. Martin government is conscious to the fact that we have to start moving fast. We have to start getting some projects off the ground, and especially those projects that would deal directly with the people, projects like home repair and those type of projects.
People all across St. Martin are switching to a more rewarding experience. The WIB MasterCard Fun Miles credit card, better known as My Card. Earn 1 Fun Mile for every $2 spent, even abroad and online. This will quickly get you a ton of Fun Miles to redeem for travel, shopping, food, fuel, and much more. But there's more to My Card. Worldwide acceptance, an EMV chip for extra security, and 250 free Fun Miles with first use. Switch to My Card today at WIB.
Fun miles from within your reach.
Hey guys, did you know that now with Telcel, if you accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month, you get 15 more?
15 more?
Yes, 15 more. However you want.
So I can top up $3 now, $10 next week, and so on until I reach or pass $25?
That's right. Get 15 more.
Wow! I feel like a 15 again.
Yeah. Right. Accumulate $25 or more within 1 calendar month and get 15 more. Telcel, when you want more.
It's been said that behind every door, possibility awaits. How much possibility depends on which door you open first. Every day, we help our customers discover the possibilities in their lives. It all starts with a conversation. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
It's a pleasure for me to be back here after a week and to update you positively on some of the developments within the ministry, though echoing what our Prime Minister ended with, that it is quite frustrating to work in a situation when you don't know how much longer you have to work, yet there are so many important things that have to be decided on and executed. Luckily, however, even though I was out for the past week, in continued collaboration with the ministry and USM, we were finally able to sign off on the agreement, which would help USM to get back on its feet as of mid-January the 15th. It took quite some discussion, negotiation, etc., but cool heads prevailed in the end, and we were able to come across with what I would consider a win-win for both the USM as well as for St. Martin government, in the sense of, having the accountability in place for the funds. I'd like to thank the ministry, Education, Culture, Youth and Sport, especially the Education Department, Exam Inspection, and Study Financing Division, because they all had to collaborate to make sure that this could happen. DSG, as well as the Council of Ministers, for, even in my absence, approving the final decision in terms of how much would be approved, etc. I had already been given an okay to negotiate, but of course within the negotiations things changed, etc. And so last week the Council of Ministers approved that, and with that we were able to move forward with USM in a very positive manner. I'd like to also thank the student, staff, and management of USM, as well as its board, for everything that they have done. The students, especially, for their patience. They are the ones who would have been the biggest losers. Of course, employees would be losers as well, but we're talking about the future for the students of St. Martin, and not just the current students, but students who had planned to start in August or planned to start come January, or those who are finalizing their high schools now and are seeing that, maybe they didn't have everything in place to leave, and now where are they going to be? So we're very, very happy as government of St. Martin that this situation did not get politicized to the sense where the students would have been the biggest losers, as well as St. Martin in general, or just to say, kudos to whomever got it done. Time was a big factor, and many of the delays could have been avoided, but we're happy. We're very, very happy that we are at this stage now where we have an agreement in place, and the real work starts in terms of following through on the agreements, the deadline dates, and making sure that the accountability remains first and foremost. The SOB has already started, and so though I expect that come 15th of January, USM will live up to its agreement to start, and as soon as it can be processed, they will have received their first payment already this week. I would also at this time like to, I know that yesterday was the last school day for most of St. Martin students, and first of all, kudos to all of you who helped to make the restart of school possible October 2nd and October 16th. Many around the world have been sending, commendations to the government of St. Martin for that fact, merely because getting schools restarted, though it was in a not the best situation, it helped to bring a sense of normalcy to families, to even, the society at large. And after that, we were able to see a lot more come on board. So I would like to thank all of the teachers, parents, and students, the school boards, the management, the staff, who all had to come together to make it possible. I'd like to thank the Red Cross for assisting us after the first 3 weeks in getting the meals. All of those who had to pitch in those first 3 weeks to feed the public school children. Thank you very much. Thank you also for the Red Cross again, because they not only have commenced with the agreed upon 3 months feeding program for 4,000 odd elementary school children. We are now in discussion as ministry with the Red Cross and BZK to have it continued past January, right down to 3 to 6 more months, which we hope would end the school year. As you know, government had been in the process of planning to take over as of the end of January in terms of how we would do that, and of course, on a need-to basis only. I mean, we're really out of the emergency phase.